And we are back for the next part of our little tutorial. I forgot about the cargo ship, but as you can see, it does not yet do what I wanted to show you. So for now, we are just going to send it to our other cities again. Actually, no, I'm going to switch it up so that it can feed my capital. One of the very good tricks to get a super high capital is to have several trade routes that feed into it. That's a very nice way of building it up really quickly. You can easily get to size 30 or more that way, and that's really a good thing. So as you can see, we have, that's going to be useful for later, we have a composite bowman here. This icon will allow you to upgrade it to a crossbowman. As you can compare here to these upgraded ones, they just have higher strength, but that shows something very relevant about the game. What's very important is that you learn, well, on your own, or I can tell you, the upgrade paths for different units. Archers start out here. This is their path. They will become composite bowmen, crossbowmen, and then they become Gatling guns. And after that they become machine guns and eventually bazookas. Important to note that there is that going from crossbowman to Gatling gun means that your range is reduced by 1 from 2 to 1, but your defensive strength is greatly increased. So rather than becoming a purely ranged unit that needs to be protected from everything, you become a more self-sufficient unit that does need to go in the heat of battle. That's something to keep in mind. Spearmen go from spearmen to pikemen, and then they become really strange as they change into lancers, a horse requiring mounted unit, and the lancers then turn into anti-tank weapons, and later they become helicopters. How that exactly works I have no idea, but that's what they do. And then the mainstay of your units in the melee area is the warrior, of course. Starting here, it's not showing up, but you can build them immediately. They turn into swordsmen, then longswordsmen, musketmen, riflemen, and then the path goes up here to infantry, and eventually they become mechanized infantry, though this one is rarely, if ever, used. The infantry path de facto stops at infantry with plastics. You can build up experience for those, but experience is mostly used for the Gatling guns. Melee units are replaceable pretty easily. Horse units then, they are not that great early in the game because they are relatively weak, and the upgrade path is not exactly superb because you need to go here, so you need these 5 technologies for them. So by the time you get them, the opponents usually already have pikemen, definitely spearmen, which are both strong against them. They are not the best, but they upgrade into knights, which are pretty okay, located at a reasonably easy part of the tech tree. And then they go back into cavalry, which is again a more complicated part of the tech tree, as you will usually be going for scientific theory or industrialization or navigation first when you are in this area. However, the cavalry is quite good as it has the highest move in that area of the game, You can use lancers instead, but cavalry is much more resilient. And then later on they become land ships and eventually tanks. And if you get their modern armor. These units, very strong units, high move, which means that they can easily go and take cities. Having them upgraded doesn't add that much, but it isn't bad either. These units, all of this line, have the special ability that they can move after attacking. So that makes extra move very, very important and very powerful. Other units include the boats. We will do a video about naval warfare to say more about them, but suffice it to say that they have similar upgrade paths from galleass to frigate to eventually the battleship. And similarly from this tiny little ship here, the trireme, to the now in the case of Portugal, but normally that is the caravel, to the ironclad and eventually the destroyer. So that's how units work. You can upgrade them over time by paying money. End game you get a bunch of new units such as anti-aircraft guns, airplanes and the like. Then one last piece of special unit I should talk about is the artillery unit. Starting with the catapult and the trebuchet, these are units that do immense amounts of damage to cities, plus 200% base. So while the 8 strength might not seem like much, it really is 24, and your catapults with 3 or 4 can definitely break down reasonably high defense cities, as high as 25 I think. Shouldn't be a problem for them, and trebuchets go even higher. But what is best about this line is the artillery unit itself. 28 strength only, but it has 3 range and it can shoot through obstacles. So if you beeline for this, you can go on a killing spree relatively effectively, as long as you get it before the opponent has bombers. So this one a key technology to get early if you want to conquer quickly. Having said that, we will upgrade our unit here, and we will move our other units in for the conquest of the capital of the enemy. As you can see, the damage is significantly higher than last time when we conquered Braganza. And this one can go here. You must be in your own territory to be able to upgrade, so it won't work if you're not. We were building something. And now I will try to show you the use of the Great Prophet and how it differs from the missionary. But to do that I should probably also get a missionary, so I will put it into place for next time and we'll see what happens then. I'll try to buy both of the special religion units to show that off. So we won't do anything for now. We're gonna put 8 food into Lisbon. As you can see, it gets plus 27 now. And after we do this, bam, we are getting 37.8 as we get all the bonuses from empire capital and religious beliefs. So that's pretty good. Which means it will level up like crazy every 3 or 4 turns I think. And we'll move this one here. Now, the other thing with combat is that you have to notice the terrain you are in. You cannot shoot over rough terrain, So if I were to stand behind this forest, I could not shoot this tile, for example. Another example is the archer here. With the hill in between, he could not reach this tile. He could reach this tile because they can shoot by the side, but not this one. Not this one. The same goes for most ranged units. So you should be very much aware of that. Standing on a hill will negate that. So if you are on a hill and there is a hill in between, then you can shoot over it, but the same does not count for a forest and another forest. So that's something to keep in mind as well. We will upgrade this unit as well. And now we move up here. Since our horseman is damaged, we can use this icon here and one movement point to pillage the tile it is on. It only does something if the tile you are on is in enemy territory. In that case you gain gold and health, as you can see. The same thing goes for this one. If we pillage the spices, we would regain health and gold, but I want to maintain the spices because I don't want to repair them with my own workers. So we'll be shooting. Set up the catapult and boom. Look at the damage it will do. That's pretty ridiculous. 40 damage just with 8 strength against a 17 strength city. Lisbon is done, they can build the ironworks. And the horseman still has 3 move left. 2 to move into a protected tile or a rough terrain tile. But you can always use your last move to move into a tile. So we don't need 2 to move into a hill, but it will consume 2 if we have that much left. There we go. Attila's court is about to fall, and we will construct our last temple here. And I hope that we get some experience. Yes, this one is about to level up. You also get experience when you are being attacked. So it can be a viable strategy to just place a unit in range of the enemy, fortified and defending itself. That's a reasonably frequently used tactic. And a good time to talk about the Golden Ages, I guess. So, as you can see here, we have at this moment 4 upgrades available. We can go for extra damage against cities and fortified units. That's okay. That's definitely not bad, unless your unit is intended to gain other promotions. I would definitely recommend taking this with some of the early or mid-range artillery units. That will help you break down cities much faster. But it will not lead up to logistics. Logistics is the one where you can get double attack. To get logistics you need 3 of either accuracy or 3 barrage. So that's why you have to choose one path or another. Mixing them up, making them a little better against one sort of target is mostly really bad, as if you have specialized units you can just pick which one has to stand where and has to attack what. So I don't recommend mixing them until you have completed one arc. Cover, not a bad upgrade, but the extra defense is not going to help you much. I would much rather use a melee unit to protect the catapult than using cover, as it's a pretty wasted upgrade. Yes, your unit is going to stay alive longer, but it's not going to be better at attacking than other units. So rather than having your unit survive, you might as well build a new one since it has no relevant upgrade. Though in some cases it can be sort of okay, but more often than not it's not. So in this case I'm going to go for accuracy since I already have one of them, and I did the same on most of my crossbowmen here, as you can see, except this one has 2 barrage. So at level 4 they can get barrage 3, and then at level 5 they can get logistics, which means that they can get double attack. The double attack does not just mean that you can attack twice, but it also means that you can attack before you move. So you then expend 1 movement point per attack, and you can just shoot and then run away. And that's another really amazing thing about logistics, and that is the reason why I think you should get it as fast as possible with most of your units, though that's more of a guideline than a rule. There are definitely possibilities and options where you have to do it otherwise. And here we will conquer Attila's court. When conquering a city, it will give you the options here, always only for maximum 4. I recommend always viewing the city first to see what is in there. After that you can decide to either dump it, raise it, but that's not possible with city-states and capitals. You can annex it, but you should never ever do this on a freshly conquered city. Or you can create a puppet. The puppet will give you less unhappiness, but you can't choose what to build there. So when you conquer a city, either raise it or create a puppet. Later on, if you really want to, you can then annex it when you click on it. But until it comes out of resistance, annexing does absolutely nothing. So there is no reason to ever do it. As you have already seen, I never automate my workers. I always do everything manually. If you automate them, they will start doing really strange things, and we don't want that. But I won't blame you if you choose to do so. It's not gonna be terrible, it's just not going to be optimal. And with all this conquest, we got 2 iron and apparently 10 more from city-states. So that means that I could potentially buy a swordman, which I might do at some point in the near future. And as you can see, we have now built a reasonable sized empire, reaching from Attila's court all the way across the continent to Braga and Lisbon. And these are our allies. So that seems fine. I intend to conquer the rest, but that's not very important right now. I would like to end this video by showing you a peace deal. You can click on him, negotiate a peace, and then you can ask what seems fair to him. He will be okay with this. I am, however, not. He's not willing to offer me gold yet. So what he is willing to offer depends on the difference in military strength, among other things, and how threatening he thinks you are at the moment. If he is not threatened sufficiently right now, that just means I have to move up my units, maybe damage his cities a bit, and then he will be willing to talk more readily. So I intend to take Vexio from him, and then maybe liberate Berlin to show off that mechanic. So that's all for now. Next video we will talk about what the different options are with religion, removing it and spreading it, but that will not take long. And after that we are going to take a little break, and the next video after that will be about naval warfare, I think. Alright, we are back with the addendum to that last video. I will probably attach them to each other. So now that we have surrounded Berlin, I want you to see the liberation mechanic. When a city has been conquered, you can then liberate it and restore the extinct civilization to life, after which they will like you and many of the diplomatic penalties will be reset. This can be very helpful when you are trying to go for some victory types. For example, if you want to make research agreements with someone who is no longer relevant, you can restore someone to life, give them the gold for the research agreement, and then make a deal with them. They will almost always want to be your friends, and they can serve as buffers between you and enemy civilizations. So I will show that off. As you remember, Germany was quite angry with me, and we'll see what happens if we liberate them. One more thing that you should know: shooting at an already depleted city does not in fact give you experience. As you will see right now, no experience is gained. We'll invade this. Destroys him, and we will liberate Germany. Recall to life a lot of very high green points, so they will be unlikely to go away for the remainder of the game as friends. And meanwhile we are going to clear out this one with our horses, but not this turn. There we go. That's all I wanted to show you. As you will see in the future, the Germans will be our friends for a very long time to come.